Well, good morning, everyone. Happy 4th of July. As you may have seen outside, we have experienced a substantial rain event. By the way, I'm Judge Lane Carter from Tom Green County. This rain event has been close to some record amounts of what we've seen in the past, all in one place. It looks like the cell, and from what I was looking on the radar between the night, formed over San Angelo and just cultivated itself and dumped heavy rainfall throughout the morning. Around 5 a.m. I received a phone call from our district chief from Texas Division of Emergency Management, Sean Baxter, informing me of multiple water rescues that were being performed by our VFDs out in at the north side of the county, out there towards 2105 and 87. It was Quail Valley, the Texas Forest Service. They were performing water rescues off the side of the road, and also in the residential area of the Navajo Street and Aztec Street north of 2105. At that time, I enacted the state resources through TDM. We established a temporary shelter here at the Texas AgriLife Center out here north of Highway 87, where it formed as our incident command center and a shelter for those being affected and being rescued for their homes and their cars. We used this for grouping resources and the housing of those individuals. After the contact with TDM, I was informed of the need for the citizen transport, so my second phone call was to Sheriff Nick Hanna and also to Dr. Moran with SAISD. They were both willing and able to provide bus transports from both the jail and the school district to help with those individuals that were being rescued to be transported out here to the conference center of Texas AgriLife. Shelter and food were provided to the citizens rescued. I want to do a shout out and a thank you for Kent Quick. They were willing to create hot breakfast meals and sandwiches and waters for the individuals affected that were picked up and transported out here, so thank you very much for them. After assessing the known needs for the north of the county, which is where it first initially was affected by the heavy rainfall, we started corresponding with city management and emergency services to see how the city was being affected. At that time, we were in discussions with Mayor Tom Thompson and Chief Travis Griffith, and we were informed of multiple rescues being enacted within the city limits of San Angelo. At this time, we are in the process of doing a formal disaster declaration. We will be both signing that as a county and a city and submitting that to the Office of the Governor here shortly. Right now, we have been focusing on the life and safety of all of our citizens here in Tom Green County, and the city of San Angelo and the outer surrounding areas. Right now, I want to hand it off to Sheriff Hanna, where he can discuss more of the road closures, where the areas that are being affected, and the water rescues performed by the Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, thank you, Judge. As the Judge stated, I want to express gratitude for our first responders, city, county, state, and our volunteers. The radio has been very active, and they've done an excellent job, and everybody stayed calm, and we've effected quite a few water rescues, both vehicle and from homes within the county. They're really too numerous to mention at this point. We do want to point out that US 87 South is down to one lane, so use caution when traveling between here and Concho County, and we do know that the storm is tracking east, southeast, and I think some of our neighbors down south and southeast they're having significant trouble. Road closures here in Tom Green County for now. FM 2334 is impassable. FM 765, I would avoid travel on that at all possible. Low-lying areas on FM 2105, FM 228 north of Bison Trail are either slow going or nearly impassable. Water is beginning to recede at this point. I spoke with Sergeant Baker with DPS, and he'll probably reiterate, but I would check driving conditions on, is it drivetexas.org?
Yes, sir.
So drivetexas.org, and he'll probably get that to you again later. So the old saying, turn around, don't drown. I know it's interesting to go see, but really we cannot create any more emergencies for our first responders to drive, to respond to, and you're pulling resources when you make those decisions and you get yourself in a bind. So we just encourage people to stay home and be safe, and then I'll turn it over to Mayor Tom Thompson. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Sheriff Hanna. Mayor Tom Thompson, City of San Angelo. I want everybody to know that things started very actively this morning. We all know the storm's backed up, and it looks like they started here, this part of the county, and it moved. But what I want everybody to know is all the assets that have been organized and put together within the past few hours have just totally been outstanding. The team that's working here is an A+ team. We're working with Texas Department of Emergency Management, Public Safety, PD, Fire Department, SO. It's all been great. One thing I do want to cover, and Sheriff Hanna brought it up, if you don't need to go somewhere, please don't. Please stay in place. When you drive through neighborhoods, the water you push pushes it back up into the houses. I want everybody just to stay in place as long as they can. I will say we will do another press release today at approximately 5 p.m. from Paul Ann Baptist Church. One thing I want to talk about right quick, for those of y'all that are getting there, as the water recedes, everybody's going to have some debris. We've been on the line with Republic Services. They had a conference call at 10 a.m. The Republic Services yard is flooded and has difficulty getting the trucks out. They have called statewide, and they are bringing in resources from out of town and with throughout the state, and they are going to be full steam tomorrow, getting wherever they can. We're going to close the landfill, open only to Republic Services trucks so they can hit and work it. We don't need anybody in the way. So the landfill will not be open to anyone except Republic Services. At this point, Chief Griffith has been involved with this. I saw him last night about 10 o'clock at the fireworks. So y'all, let's listen to Griff. He's been up since early this morning. He'll give you a situation report of what all we're seeing in the city, and he'll give you contact numbers that you can follow. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I just want to ask the citizens and everyone listening to be praying. We still have a lot of people we're going to be checking on and looking for. Also, if you are in a flooded area and you have left, please contact the San Angelo Police Department to make sure that we know that you're okay, because we're going to be doing active door-to-door search in several parts of the town. And that phone number is going to be 325-657-4315. That will be posted in the comments and also on a different post for the San Angelo Police Department as well as the city. To begin with, at about 2 this morning, we started seeing showers come into the area and saturate the land. And then at about 4, we started seeing significant rainfall. In between approximately 5 and 6 this morning, the San Angelo Comm Center, Dispatch Center, received over 100 calls for service during that time frame for water rescues. The water rose very quickly. We're seeing this being near historic, if not historic rainfall, especially all at one time. During that time frame, there's been over 100 rescues conducted by the San Angelo Fire Department and the Police Department in a joint effort. I want to say thank you to the Street and Bridge, anybody that's working in the city maintenance division. They have been coming out with their dump trucks. We've been using our resources with an armored vehicle to be able to get into high water. We've had citizens come in with boats. We'll be releasing a picture today that shows it's the best picture I've seen thus far of what we saw in the rescue time frame of the early morning hours, where we see there's going to be troopers on that boat, there's police officers, there's firemen. They are working actively in high water to rescue those that were trapped inside their homes. We've seen the fire department having to take people from their attics in particular areas. This is not just a light flood, and I know if you're on the west side of town, you're thinking, hey, it's not that bad. The east side was particularly hit with that high water that rushed into the low water areas where people lived, and we see about a 2-mile area that is affected tremendously. So we are beginning a door-to-door approach with the fire department and the police department doing an DPS as a joint command, and making sure we're not missing anybody, that we can find anybody that could be trapped somewheres. So as we start to check in, we have a command post set up on the southeast corner of Pulliam and Bell. So if you're in that region and have left, you can come there and tell us where you live. That's key to us because we don't want to put resources where it doesn't need to be. And I want to just brag on the city leadership and county leadership real quick. What we've seen is nothing short of amazing communication, boots on the ground. We're all had our resources stretched to the max, and we saw countless times deputies, troopers, firemen, and police officers putting their life on the line this morning to save people's lives. And so I'm so thankful for our people. As we move forward, I want y'all to be aware of a few phone numbers. If you don't have a place to go, we have a shelter set up at Paul and Baptist Church that's located at 2531 Smith Boulevard. If you need to go there, all you got to do is show up. There's going to be Red Cross, there's going to be people there helping you get the resources that you may need, any supplies. If you want to donate, we also have donate collection point there. If you're like, hey, I'm going to grab some water or whatever, you can take that over there to them. We also want to say thank you to the citizens. We had people showing up with coffee and water and giving our guys that have been out for 18 hours roughly by the time they were relieved of duty with coffee and drinks and snacks, and so thank you to them. If you're needing a ride, if you've been displaced and you would like to go to the shelter, we can get you a direct pickup. The phone number for that is going to be 234-0251. And that would be for the Concho Valley Transit. We'll be able to pick you up. United Way, if you're wanting to help and volunteer, we're asking for volunteers to be directed to the United Way so we can have a one point to collect it, not have it be sporadic. That phone number for the United Way is 949-3716. And we appreciate all the outreach, and I think it shows how wonderful it is to live in this community, because within a very short period of time, we had the majority of our police officers, the majority of firemen were coming in, our city staff in the water distribution, Lake bringing boats out to do rescues, citizens that brought their boats out, and that actually in that picture you'll see later today is on a citizen's boat that put his property and his life on the line to help save our neighbors, and that highlights what San Angelo is all about. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Staff Sergeant Justin Baker with DPS, and he's going to provide some more information.
Thank you, Chief. He spoke perfectly. This community is great. We have great leadership. Everybody's come together from the minute this started, knowing that your safety is our priority. That being said, from the state of Texas perspective, I want you to know that we have both land and air support. You're going to see that helicopter flying around today. They're keeping an close eye on any watershed, any changes with the roadways. And with that being said, like the sheriff said, drivetexas.org is a very useful app and website where you can look at those roadways and where road closures are. So again, it's the holidays, it's 4th of July, we want to celebrate, but safety is priority. If you feel like you're going to be putting yourself or others in harm's way, please don't take that risk. You're going to see barriers up, road closures. It's very important to know that you're not supposed to pass those. It is a Class B misdemeanor. And like the sheriff said, we don't want to waste resources to go out there and have to deal with a situation like that. It can be very deceiving in the way of water. It doesn't look like it's moving very fast, but underneath we could have very fast currents and will sweep you away. We've heard many conversations about that this morning already, with vehicles getting swept away. The importance of understanding watershed is that at this moment, some of these roadways might be open, but that could change as more water's pushing through, as any structures break, and now you're going to find more flooding in areas that there currently was not any flooding. So again, pay attention to what is being put out. Make sure that you're going to that app or that website, looking up that information, and just making sure that your safety is our priority. Again, as a member of this community, what I've seen this morning, the way everybody has come together and making sure that we're getting all the resources available to make sure that everybody is safe, and that if anybody needs anything, those resources are going to be available, has been just amazing to watch. And we greatly appreciate everybody here. We appreciate your media showing up today to get this information out, and we will continue to keep you updated as the day goes on and as it really goes into the next week and what we see happening. So thank you, and please stay safe.
finish this out before questions. One more thing to emphasize, two more things is document your loss of property. We will be providing a link at a prior date or a post date to provide that towards the TDM services for the loss of your property that can help out with the disaster declaration. We have thresholds in the area that once we meet a certain value number, it can potentially help those citizens that are negatively affected. Also, for the safety going on through the day, we do have projected rainfalls, and also from watershed, we do not know what those numbers will be, but also it can be what we've seen the more north of town, that it receives rainfall, it can see the rise of waters interior of town and south of town. So always be aware of where you are driving, where you live, to make sure that those waters are not going to negatively affect citizens that are not affected as of this time, because there are potentials of that later. Mayor Thompson, do you have any other?
Yeah, well, do y'all have any questions that we hadn't brought up? Do y'all have anything you want to ask right now? Because we've got the team to answer it if you got it.
Any calls or anything happening out by the lake, or are they largely fine there?
So
I can tell you that at this point, the watershed is looking like most of that's going to divert from the east side, which is nothing short of a miracle, according to our city resources. So we'll monitor the lake, but thankfully, with as low as it's been, those are mostly going to go to Twin Buttes, and is what we're projecting right now. And that's rough numbers, but that's what we're seeing.
any other questions? So let's again reiterate, we'll have another press conference this afternoon at 5 p.m. from Paul Ann. Command Center will be moving to Paul Ann Church. As we move forward throughout the day, we'll gather data and information. If you don't need to travel, please don't. If you have anybody that is actually traveling that you know trying to get here, Sergeant Baker, I don't know if people coming through can actually get to Eden, if they can get to Junction, if they can get to San Antonio. I've had lots of questions.
Right now, again, based on that app and that website, if I want to look out towards Eden, right now it shows everything in Eden, in the city itself, it shows to be a little bit of flooding in that area. Again, using this app, this website is going to be your best bet. DriveTexas.org, and again, you can see how it shows you red is roads closed, blue is the safer routes, and again, just look over that app, make sure that you're seeing what's open, what's safe, and make sure you spread that word along to anybody else that's asking those questions, and we'll keep you posted on anything else that we know as it comes up.
For any questions, any information needed, you can also be in contact with our Tom Green County Sheriff's Facebook page, the City of San Angelo Facebook page, the San Angelo Police Department Facebook page. If you have any questions, there are contact numbers there. Please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to help y'all as many ways as possible. So, any other?
Yeah, can I speak on that? We're going to follow the lead of the City of San Angelo's, right? So that way the citizens don't have to go to 18 different places. Those different Facebook pages are going to share the City of San Angelo's. That way the citizens could go directly to the City of San Angelo at this point and not have to be behind the curve if somebody hasn't posted something yet, if everybody's okay with that. And that way we have direct, for the citizens directly, we'll know exactly where to go to the City of San Angelo.
And one last thing, for any roadside assistance, emergency situations, on the back of your driver's license, there is a number there that you can call, and services will respond.
With that, if y'all don't have any further questions, we'll go ahead and conclude this meeting. And remind everybody we'll be back at 5 o'clock this afternoon with another report from San Angelo. At Paul Ann Baptist Church, not here, at Paul Ann. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.